This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, a new segment where I highlight current and former Flathead Valley area players, coaches, and sports figures celebrating the best athletics the Valley has to offer. The Flathead Valley Sports Haven is powered by Logan Health. I'm your host, Cole Havens, and today in studio I am joined by Whitefish native Hailey Ells, a former Whitefish high school standout who now competes for the Montana State Bobcats as a Division I multi-event track and field athlete. She's representing the Flathead Valley on the Big Sky stage. Hailey, first of all, thank you for coming in and joining me here today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Well, let's go ahead and start off with, can you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and just kind of your journey from Whitefish to Bozeman?
Yeah, totally. I am a sophomore at Montana State, and like Cole said, I run track. I'm a heptathlete there. I was raised in Whitefish with a couple siblings older than me, and my sister and I always did the same sports, and so that was fun to try and follow in her footsteps. And her senior year was my freshman year, so coming in pretty lofty expectations for myself, wanting to make varsity every team and play with her and run with her. Ended up having a pretty decent freshman year track season, got to run with her on the relays, and that was super cool. And then she committed to the Grizz, which not a big fan, but super proud of her there. And ever since then, I kind of just tried to follow in her footsteps. So focused on track, obviously still played a couple more sports, played volleyball and basketball in high school as well. And that was super fun. Definitely shaped me to the person I am today, just being with those girls and those coaches. But yeah, focus on track. It was definitely my best sport in high school, and got some just amazing teammates and amazing coaches in Whitefish. Coach Blackburn, who's no longer there, but she was one of the best coaches I've ever had. Mm-hmm. She shaped my track career amazingly, and same with Coach Willie Roach. He is truly one of the biggest influences out of Whitefish, and just a great mentor, a great coach, and a great person to be around. So that was awesome. It definitely makes track a little bit easier to go to practice every day. You know, people always say track isn't the most fun sport. You're just running around in circles all day. So it's fun to have good coaches, have good teammates like Brooke Zatuni and Rachel Wilmot, Bailey Smith, just a super fun crew. Aaron Wild now competes for the Grizz still too. And it was just a great crew, and I just loved the environment always. And yeah, I just knew I wanted to keep going because I didn't really know what else I would do. So
well, before we get into your accomplishments in Bozeman, talk to me about, you kind of touched on it, but what was it like growing up and going to high school in Whitefish, competing for the Bulldogs, to be able to wear that green and gold? What did that mean to you as an athlete and as a person?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. The small town vibe is just amazing. It's hard to beat. I go to Montana State, and people not stopping you in the grocery store and just cheering you on, wishing you good luck on your season, talking about your last race and your last meet. It's a different world for sure. And Whitefish, growing up having that, and just everybody knowing your name, which was a lot at some points, but also it was just so encouraging. It was so cool to see that you're competing for more than just yourself and your name. You're competing for your town and your coaches and the school. And it was a great school, great community and classmates and teammates and coaches and teachers. I wouldn't change a thing. I love Whitefish, and I hope one day I can bring my kids back and raise them here, just because it's a community that's hard to beat. It's hard to beat people who care about you as a person and as a student and as an athlete. And I think that's a super cool and kind of a unique space and area to be in. And yeah, I can't talk enough good about Whitefish. I love it.
It's the general consensus, and it only gets better when sometimes you leave and you come back.
Totally.
And you have a greater appreciation for it. You touched on it. You were a multi-sport athlete in high school, playing basketball, obviously track, volleyball. How did being a multi-sport athlete really help you get to that next stage?
Yeah, I think the dedication piece is probably the biggest piece, and the biggest takeaway that I still have from it is just being a collegiate athlete. There's so much time and dedication that goes into it. You know, it's 30-hour practice weeks. You're lifting 3 days a week. You're practicing 6 days a week. And on top of that, you're a full-time student in a new place. You're learning how to live by yourself. And it's just a lot. And so I think being able to come from a school where every day you would go to school and then you would go to practice, and that was kind of your that was kind of your schedule. I think if I wouldn't have done 3 sports, I would have, A, gotten bored, and B, not really known how to handle my time and handle my schoolwork and just, like, my life load. I think that was really important. I remember, like, the 2 weeks off, depending on, like, where we made it, like, divisional, state, whatever, for the sport prior. That couple weeks, I was, like, going crazy. I didn't know what to do. I was at the gym multiple times a day. I was like, I don't know what to do. And so I think, yeah, it was super important, and it helped me to just be, like, more on top of my schoolwork and on top of, like, social interactions and just having relationships and building a community that was, like, within sports but also beyond sports and friendships. And, yeah, I think having that aspect was really important, and it definitely helped me going into college trying to balance everything, like knowing a little bit how to balance. I don't think it's very comparable just because of how much work it actually is, but it definitely helped for sure. Yeah.
And then, I mean, going to the Cats, you're going to Division I competition right off the bat, from Class A high school to Division I. I mean, track's a little different in terms of how that works in, like, football. Like, you're competing against everyone, but I mean, speed, right? You can't teach speed. If you're fast, you're fast. But what was maybe one of the biggest adjustments going from high school to all of a sudden you're a D1 athlete?
I would probably say training. You know, I lifted in high school, but just in weight training class with Coach Smith. And that was great. And I'm very thankful that I did, because we went in and some kids, like, didn't lift at all. And so that was crazy. But, yeah, I'm glad I had some background there. But I think training was the biggest piece, you know, going from, track practice is 30 minutes today. Like, we're going to go and we're going to run half of the lap. Sorry, Mr. Roach, never really finished those warm-up laps. We're going to run half the lap and warm up and then do, 3 100s and call it a day. Whereas, we go warm up for an hour and a half, and that's, like, just warm-ups. And then we're practicing. And especially as a multi, like, we'll go and do, an 800 workout and then go throw a shot after. It's like you're in the KSAC for hours, and then right after that you're in the weight room. And so it's definitely, training was the biggest adjustment. I think competition, it's obviously a different world. You're not top right away, and it's going to take a while to get there, but I think it's a cool experience. I think it opens your mind to just how much opportunity there is for you and how amazing other athletes are and how hard they've worked to get there as well. So I think it was really cool to see just the change from being, I'm going to go and win this race and it's not really much of a question, to being like, I have competition that's going to push me to be better. And I think that was really cool. Still is really cool. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest piece from going to Class A to D1.
How about why was Montana State the right fit for you?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is when I was on my visit there, I had the opportunity to meet with Matt Kirby, who is the head chaplain there, and he started a club called I guess he didn't start it, but at Montana State, Athletes in Action. And I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him and some of my current teammates there, Millie Hubble and Caroline Hawks, and just talk about how they brought religion to college and how they continued in their faith journey through a big time of change and carrying that into sports and into your daily life and school. And I just felt so valued there, and I felt like I was more than just an athlete. And I just knew that I wanted to be pushed in my faith more than anything when I went to school. And I think having that opportunity, and I would still say that AA is one of my favorite parts about Bozeman and about that school. So I'm just incredibly blessed to have that there. And I think that was one of the leading factors. I talked to the Grizz, and that would have been really cool to go and be on the same team as my sister again. Coach Doug is awesome, and Lindsay is amazing. And I think that would have been a really cool opportunity as well, but I just would really say that Athletes in Action and having the opportunity to grow as a person and grow as an evangelist is more important to me than 4 years of sports. So,
That's fair.
Yeah.
Perfect. I was going to say, now y'all have a little bit of that sibling rivalry, too.
Totally.
Which we'll get into that, too. But I got to imagine your sister's still as happy as she can be for you going to Bozeman, though. How about let's go into kind of what the events you run at Bozeman. I think there's probably a lot of people unfamiliar with kind of what you do, because you do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Can you go into what the heptathlon or pentathlon actually is and how many events you actually do compete in?
Yeah, totally. So I think most people more know the word decathlon, which is the male version of it. So it's just that, but for females. In the indoor season, we do 5 events, and it consists of the 60 hurdles, long jump, high jump, shot put, and the 800. And then outdoor, we switch to the 100 hurdles and then add the 200 and javelin into that mix. And then, so we'll go throughout the season, and we won't really do multis on the regular season meets. So we'll just go and we'll compete in a couple events. So like my first meet, I did long jump and the 60 hurdles, and then like a 4x3 for fun and for training. And you know, and so we'll do that. And so we'll go to I think the next meet we have in Bozeman, we'll actually do a full pent. But other than that, we'll just stick with a few events that we just need to work on. So like I'll do long jump a lot of the time, and the 60 hurdles is a fairly easy event on the legs. So I'll do that probably every meet. And you just go to meets and you just work at individual events, all working up to the conference championships, and that's when you compete in the multi. And so similar in the outdoor, obviously, and just do that. And like practice honestly looks like 2 to 3 days a week we're working on like running things. So hurdles, speed endurance for the 200, and like longer endurance for the 8. And then the other days we'll do like long jump is like a full day by itself. We'll try and throw high jump in where we can, and same with shot. But that's pretty much what training looks like, and that's what meets look like up until the conference championship, where we'll actually compete in the multi. And then if there's like an event that's kind of down that year in the conference, they'll throw us in that too to try and score some extra points.
This is the Flathead Valley Sports Haven. We'll continue along with former Whitefish High School track athlete and current Montana State Bobcat Hailey Ells after this.
Is pain or weakness holding you back? When the pain cramps your lifestyle, consider joint replacement. At Logan Health Orthopedics, their total joint program provides proper education, support, and guidance during your journey. Orthopedic nurse navigators walk you through the entire process, from decision to recovery. Their surgeons use the latest technology to get you back to activity quickly with less pain and fewer restrictions. Visit logan.org/ortho to learn more. Get back to what you love with Logan Health Orthopedics.
Back from the break here on the Flathead Valley Sports Haven, powered by Logan Health. I got some your numbers here. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of these. Heptathlon, 4,355 points was a top performance. Pentathlon, 3,155 points was a top performance. 800 meter, 222. That's fast. High jump, 5.2.25. Long jump, 16 feet, 10 inches. 200 meter, 25.64. Jav, 25.59. Does that sound right?
I think so. Honestly,
put those numbers into context of what it means to be doing that at that D1 level.
Yeah, I would. There's some work to be done for sure. I think some people will hear those numbers and they'll be like, "Wow, that's great." But I hear those numbers and I hear some more training that needs to be had and some development for sure. But I think it was a great opportunity to be able to come in as a freshman and compete and see what I could do. It was a big change. My teammates were older, so they were training differently. They were competing differently. They kind of had it down by then. And so coming in freshman year, it was definitely a tough year. I didn't compete the way I wanted to. I didn't perform the way I wanted to. But by no means am I disappointed in myself. I think it gave me the opportunity to come back hungrier, and I came back first meet and I PR'd in every event that I ran in, which is fairly uncommon. So I'm excited for improvements. I'm excited to see what God has in store for me. I think it's a lot more than what I've shown so far. Yeah.
I was going to say, sometimes that can be the best, though, is when you're now going up. I mean, when you're, 18, going up against 22-years, that's a huge, huge difference.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
How about favorite event? Do you have an event that you enjoy the most, or do you have one that challenges you the most?
Yeah, I think long jump is the most challenging for me, easily. And my favorite is hurdles, although it's also very challenging for me to get some small things tuned in right there. But I think overall it'll probably be one of my better events going into my sophomore, junior season. And oddly enough, I would say that the 800 is also up there in one of the favorites, which people find me crazy for that. But I think it's kind of fun to just end the multi in an 8. I remember last year, outdoor conference, we were at Sac State and didn't have a good hurdle race, and that was like that's the first event in the multi. And so that kind of like kicked off my first ever heptathlon in college just awfully. And I was pretty down in the dumps, trying to compete in the other 6 events. And by the time the 800 hit, like I knew there wasn't much I could do to, step up and score for my team, which was a bummer, but also opened my eyes to realize that, what else am I to do than just to run this 8? So I went out there and I ran it, and that's when I ran the 221 or whatever, and it was fun. So I think that kind of opened my eyes to realize that it's really not that bad. It's 2 laps, and, I'll get over it, and I'll be lactic for a couple minutes. But to bring the energy and just bring the light onto the track when everybody's kind of dreading it was fun. It was fun to see, and I got with some of the girls before the 8 and just prayed and got, our mindset on bigger and better things than ourselves and then what we do. So that was encouraging. And I think ever since then, it's been fun. I like the training. I like the pain that I go through to run better times.
You kind of have to in this business,
totally,
right?
Totally.
I was going to say, touch more on the mental side of things for me a little bit. Take me through, how do you stay mentally focused through 2 full days of competition, through doing multiple events in one meet type of thing? How do you mentally make sure that you're as prepared as you can be? Yeah,
I would say for a lot of like athletic side of things, you have to be kind of like have a short-term memory with the multi. If you have a bad event, you got 30 minutes, a quick turnaround. You got 30 minutes to warm up for the next. So you're stretching out, you're kind of regaining your bearings a bit if you have a bad event. If you have a good event, you ride that high, that's great. But fairly uncommon to go through a multi and have 7 good events. So I would say, just being able to have a short-term memory with that, which I've struggled with all through high school and in my freshman year. But that's really important, and reminding yourself that you have 6 more events to fight back and score the points that you didn't score in the event prior is probably the main way that most people look at it. But for me, I would just say that just recognizing that it's bigger than myself. God's put me in this position, and I'm so incredibly blessed to be there. And just recognizing that, track is temporary and my faith is forever, and having that as the backbone of everything that I do and compete in, just to glorify him in every way and not glorify myself or like my team or anything. It's all for him, and he's put me in this position, and he's given me all these opportunities to go out and compete. And so I just hope that I can just show his light through the good and the bad and all the terrible times and all the good times and good jumps and bad jumps. That's my goal in college athletics is, to bring Christ closer to the track and glorify him through everything that I do. So I think that's really encouraging, and it helps me get through the bad events going into the next one. So perfect. And also you're studying pre-med, correct? Yeah. How do you balance that with athletics? Well, I don't know. No, I'm just joking. I'm majoring in psychology with a couple minors in biochemistry and human development. And it's tough, but we have so many support systems at Montana State. We have academic advisors who are always looking to help us in every way we can. There's a bunch of tutors that tutor us, and my roommate is also on the similar track, so we get to study together, and she's on the track team too. So study together and just like hold each other accountable. There's quite a few crazy majors on the track team. Just holding each other accountable and trusting that you'll get it done. Sometimes you don't get it done, but but it's fun. I think it pushes me to be a better person and to it's kind of a heart check every time you're like overwhelmed. You're like, okay, well, what's your priority here? AIA is every Tuesday, so it's like I have a test on Wednesday. Practice was really hard, but like, what are you going to prioritize? And for me, it's always going to be God and my faith journey. So I think that's super important to keep me grounded and just keep me going. I'm hoping to go to med school for pediatric oncology. So hoping that I can make an impact in the oncology world and just bring some light to a pretty dark place. So that's my goal there. But,
I like that.
Yeah.
And then I like how you talk about how you're trying about serving a bigger purpose. There's more to life than just sports. Do you feel like when you step onto the track in any of these Big Sky meets, do you feel like you're wearing that green and gold? Do you feel like you're representing the Flathead Valley every time you step on, or have you really had a chance to think about that?
No, totally. I think every place that I've been in, I'm just proud to be from Whitefish, and I'm proud to, represent the coaches that have coached me and the teammates that have carried me through the good and the bad times. I wouldn't be the athlete I am. I wouldn't be half the person I am today without the small town community and without all of the teachers and coaches that have supported me along the way. So I think it's really important, and you can never forget where you came from because that's who's made you as a person. So
I got to ask, because you're also following kind of a similar storyline of Lee Walburn. Obviously, Whitefish High School track athlete, coming for the Olympics. Do you follow his journey or look at what he's doing to, in a sense, help you out type of thing? Or do you take from other athletes to apply to yourself?
Totally. I think it's really important to, see how other athletes get to where they are. Everybody's journey is a bit different. I think Lee has loftier expectations, which is amazing, and he wants to get to the next level. And I think for me, college track is kind of the pinnacle of my track career. And not only because that's probably where my talent is going to cap out, but also because, like I said before, I have different things I want to do with my life. So it's really fun to follow Lee, but I wouldn't say that I follow him in a sense of trying to get to where he's at. But yeah, it's super cool. It's amazing to see a small town kid like that get so far. And he's an amazing athlete, and it's super fun to follow him and kind of, following his footsteps, like you said, being a multi, and same with like Carson Crack, very following in his footsteps, went to Carroll, same thing. So that's super cool to see. It's just fun to see all the Valley kids excel and, know that we came from the same coaching and the same school and the same classroom, and that's super fun to see and super encouraging. And I love cheering on the Grizz, even though they're the Grizz, but I'm always cheering for the girls from the Valley. So I'm
going to say that's a nice segue, because we talked about how your sister's at the University of Montana. Give me an insight into how real the Cat Grizz rivalry is in your family.
Yeah, I think it's funny. We compete in different events, so it's not like, you're cheering in the same heat for a Cat and a Grizz, which happened once. My first ever collegiate race was just me and McKenna in a heat. And so that was funny. But it's fun. I think it's almost like I'm on two little teams. I know all the Grizz girls, and so it's super fun to go to a track meet and have like a silly rivalry. We're like, oh, yeah, like that's an ugly jersey you got on. But like in reality, it's just fun to hear their voices. I'm getting into the blocks and I hear Grizz girls cheering for me, which is just awesome. And it's, same way, same thing goes for them. I'm cheering for them once they got into the blocks.
Montanans root for Montana kids.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously once it comes down to conference, we're a bit more rivalry based, but I think overall it's been a blessing to have my sister on a different team and get to know her teammates, and she gets to know mine, and it's been super cool to see just her thrive and fight through some injuries and see how supportive the girls are there to her. And so I want to do the same thing for them. I want to be there for them regardless of what color they're wearing, and I think it's super cool, and I'm incredibly blessed to have my sister go before me and show me how to do it. And she's one of my biggest inspirations and my biggest mentors, and I'm forever thankful for her and for how hard she's worked to get to where she's at. And so I think it's super cool to see. It would definitely be cool to be on the same team as her again, but it's fun to to be running against her sometimes. So
You said your first race was against her. Who won?
She did.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one coming.
Who's more competitive between the two of you, would you say?
I think I'm more competitive, but she's stronger, She's older, so.
She got the skill, a
Yeah,
little more skill. She's been there a little bit longer.
Right, totally, yeah.
How about sibling rivalry aside, what advice would you give to young athletes in the Valley at Whitefish who want to compete at that next level?
Yeah, keep working at it, find things you enjoy within it. It's hard. It's not an easy feat for sure. I think sports in general is really hard, and obviously I'll talk more about track than any other sport because that's what I know, but it's mentally tough. It's tough to go to practice after a hard exam. It's tough to, work through injury and coaching problems if there are any, and, just recognizing that it's an opportunity that is truly once in a lifetime, and taking that opportunity if it presents itself to you is really important. And I think just working at it, and you gotta put in some time. In high school, you gotta do more than just the 45-minute track practices. You gotta lift on your own, and you gotta be dedicated to the grind. So I think that's really important. And making sure you're surrounding yourself with good people and being appreciative of the community that you're from. This is an amazing place to grow up, and you have amazing people around you supporting you and cheering you on, even on a bad game or a bad race, whatever it is. People are still there for you, and they're still super proud of how far you've come. And it doesn't change once you get to college. So I think that's really cool, and it's a great opportunity to represent your town, represent yourself, and whatever else you may represent. I think it's an awesome opportunity, and it's definitely something that I wouldn't change a thing about. So I think working hard and trying to get there is a blessing, and it's also a challenge, but it's a good challenge, and you should feel incredibly lucky to be fighting in that challenge.
That's awesome. I love that. And then before I get you out of here, how about give the fans what's upcoming? What's next for you this winter, spring, summer, next fall? Where can Whitefish, Flathead Valley, Montana fans find you next?
Yeah, totally. Our first meet back is January 23rd and 24th. It's in Bozeman, so we'll probably be streaming it. It's at our new facility. And if we have a lot of track meets in Bozeman, so if any of the Flathead Valley is ever in Bozeman, the new facility is unreal, and it's super cool, super electric to be in, so it's always fun to come. And even though track meets aren't always the most fun to watch, I don't even like watching 8 hours of track, but they're fun. So indoor season goes through March, and then outdoor season starts in March and goes through May. So we'll be competing all through there, and you'll see plenty of Montana kids running because apparently Montana's fast. So, yeah.
Montana's sneaky fast. Hailey, thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to have you on and hear your story and get to know you in a different light like this.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome, and I am super excited to hear the rest of the athletes and their journeys.